right. Here we are, another Thursday, and we are going live for the bottom line. All of your most interesting and exciting bookkeeping facts and things that you need to know to live, people. Okay, I'm going to share this. Last time I tried on my phone and it didn't work, so now I'm on the computer, so I'm hoping everyone can hear me. Let me figure out. Okay, I think I have to log into my profile. Let's see. Lexi, if you're watching this, I need a technical assistant for these things, just going forward. Okay, so I'm on my page, and now I'm going to share this to Wealth Dynamics. And this is the Bottom Line Live with me, your host, Maya Weinreb. I'm going to tell you guys today all about 1099s. I know I threatened to talk about this again. We're going to talk about 1099s. We're going to talk about tax deadlines for the year, and we're going to talk about how to set yourself up for success for this year. Bottom Line Live. All right, here we go. With all of my fans watching, I want you to know, thank you for being here and listening to this most exciting talk about bookkeeping. Oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me, Lexi. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna start telling you guys stuff. If you have any questions or anything that you want to comment or add, hi Jerry, comment or add, let me know. We're gonna talk about 1099s, which is my favorite subject at this time of year. I don't know if you guys saw my previous post. I dream of 1099s right now, like most people dream of Genie. I dream of 1099s. This is the time of year. We're going to talk about 1099s, we're going to talk about tax deadlines for the year, and we're going to talk about how to set you up for success for your company, for bookkeeping, for 1099s, because 1099 is the catchword of January. I was actually talking to my bookkeepers about this recently, and we've decided that the IRS is crazy. I know you guys all already knew this. Hi, Nano. Thanks for joining. Hi, Sean. So happy to have you. I know you guys already know this, that the IRS is crazy, and we've determined this probably a long time ago. But the fact that they want us to finish all the bookkeeping for December by January, get all the W-9s, and then file all the 1099s plus all the quarterly payroll taxes by the end of January, they're just insane. At some point, we should make them go do bookkeeping for small businesses and see how they like it. That's what I want to say, right, guys? Okay, so I'm going to get right into this. I keep saying 1099s. I've talked previously about what are 1099s. I'm going to talk about it a little bit again today, and then we're just going to talk about it from the point of view of how to get set up for success and what are your tax deadlines. So obviously, the 1099 deadline is January 31st. If you're e-filing, you basically have to have it e-filed by the 27th. So we were asking all of our clients to get us everything that we need by tomorrow, and then we're filing all the 1099s. So a lot of them have, yes, exactly. Let's go audit the IRS. I mean, who runs a household? I know this is a president, but still, who runs a household like $10 trillion in debt? How do you live that way? Come on, people. All right. So, back to my 1099 statement. So basically, 1099s are for any vendors that you purchased a service from, not a product. And a lot of times people don't think with all of the different ways. The cartel? What about the cartel, Nano? A lot of times we're not purchasing from the cartel. There's no 1099s for the cartel. A lot of times people don't think about all the companies that they purchase from that are actually service providers, that are vendors. Like, you might not think that your CPA needs a 1099. If he's not a corporation, he does. You might not think that your lawyer needs a 1099. They do, regardless of if they're a corporation. obviously you know that the people that you ask to do work for you that are contractors are going to get a 1099. Yes, thank you, David. IRS are thieves. Not only are they thieves, they are micromanagers that do not give you enough time to get your work done. They're terrible. I mean, it's not every agent, but whoever made those rules is just crazy. Okay, so a lot of people, too much narcos, yeah. I've been watching SEAL Team 6 or whatever with David Boreanaz, and there was some narcos in there as well. Okay, so there's a lot of different types of companies that you might not think that you need to give a 1099 to. One that comes up a lot is renters, or sorry, landlords, right? If you are a business owner and you're renting an actual business office, not a home office, you have to give a 1099 to the landlord. It's a different type of 1099. You know, it's not actually due by the end of the month. Think somebody, not the IRS. But they need a 1099. Your lawyer always needs a 1099. So there's lots of different things. Your marketing agency, unless they're a corporation, they need a 1099. Lots of different companies that you don't think about. So when I come at the end of the year and say, here's the list of everybody we need a W-9 from, you go, really? We have to 1099 those people? Yes, you do. Yes, indeed. And it's not fun for us either to give you these long lists. So in the a virtual office, no, it's not really a service provider, so I wouldn't 1099 them. Also, they're usually, you don't pay them that much. So good question, Lexi. Virtual office, I'd say no. I could probably research that and I might retract my statement later, but right now we're going to say no on virtual offices. But here is a way to set you up for success, because at the end of the year, you know, you might not be stressed out about 1099s like I am, because you have one company and I have over 100 clients that we're filing 1099s for. But I probably stress you out when I send you a list of 15 companies to get W-9s from, and I'm like, hey, we've been reminding you for a couple of weeks now, we need them by tomorrow. So in order for me to not stress you out, and for you to not stress me out, and your bookkeeper, and your accountant, let's set you up for success. Let's make a new policy. Before you pay a service provider, get them to give you a W-9. How about 1099s? So those you pay interest to business and investment loans, etc. Those are due by the end of March, I believe. So we're okay on those. We're just talking about the ones that are due by the end of January are the NECs, 1099 NEC, which stands for, again, let me see if I can remember, non-employee compensation. There you go. So you do need to file 1099s for those as well, but they're not as rushed. The IRS is nicer to those people. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my new policy that I want everyone to make. Whether you are my client or not, you are a business owner, do not pay anyone unless you get a W-9. Make it a policy. At the end of the year, when you can't get a hold of them, when they're conveniently out of town, or, yes, thank you, Jerry, non-employee compensation. When they're out of town, when they're too busy, when they're on vacation with their kids, and we're calling you every day and you're calling them every day to get the W-9, let's just skip all that and get the W-9 before you ever pay them, because they'll probably give it to you if they want money from you. And if you make that a policy, no money without a W-9, you will make everybody happy and make your life so easy. Now, obviously, you don't have to 1099 non-employee compensation for people who you pay less than $600 to. But let's say you ask someone to do marketing for you, or you pay, I don't know, someone to do something for you in January. You don't know that you're not going to use them again by the end of the year. So even though you're only paying them $250 right now, get that W-9 now so that next January you have all the paperwork. Not only get the W-9, send it to your bookkeeper, attach it in QuickBooks, scan it in, have it easy to find. Don't throw it in the envelope with all your receipts. You know what I mean? Let's like make this simple. So now I know I've been saying W-9 and 1099. So let's make this simple. What is a W-9? A W-9 is a real simple form that someone has to give you for you to give them money unless they're an employee or you're buying a product from them. Starbucks doesn't have to give it to you. Amazon doesn't have to give it to you. No, Jerry, no, do not pay anyone. We're not talking. You might pay them again by the end of the year. You might pay them $50 a month, and by the end of the year, that's $600. Revise that policy. Don't pay anyone without getting a W-9. Okay, so what is the W-9? Any company that you are hiring to do services for you needs to give you a W-9. It's a one-page form. If you don't print out the instructions from the IRS that you don't need, it asks for the name, the company name, the address, what their tax formation is, right? Like, are they an LLC? Are they an S Corp? Are they an LLC taxed as an S Corp? Whatever that is, their tax ID number or social security, and a signature, and that's it. It's a real simple form, and all it does is make it so you have the information that you need to give them a 1099. So that's what the W-9s are. You can print one off the internet. You can, there's lots of software that'll do it for you. Thank you, Jerry, for updating that policy. There's lots of software that'll do it for you. Like, we use this website called Tax Bandit to request W-9. So a lot of you, especially if you're vendors of my clients or you're my clients, you'll have seen we say if you want us to collect them for you, just give us the email addresses. We'll send out this very professional request in Tax Bandit that just says ABC company is requesting a W-9 from you, and they can e-sign it, put everything in, and send it back, and it's real easy. So it's that simple, and if you do it throughout the year, then I won't stress you out, your bookkeeper won't stress you out, and I won't be stressed out. Now, I know I've said this before, but let's talk about what are the penalties for not filing 1099s, because I get asked that all the time. What happens if I don't file a 1099? Okay, so first of all, if you don't file a 1099 and you get reported because the person didn't receive a 1099, you will get late fees and penalties from the IRS that can get pretty big, up to like $600, something like that. Okay, is asking non-corporate service providers for a W-9 a service Solvency now can do for us, or should we just go direct to Tax Bandit? Yes, if you're a client of ours, which you guys are, Jerry, you can give us the email addresses and we can collect it for you. But it's just as easy, if you're already setting up a relationship with them, like, okay, towards the end of the year, right now, give us the list, we'll, send them out in Tax Bandit. But throughout the year, as you're doing it, you're creating the relationship with them. You're probably sending them an ACH payment or whatever. So as you're saying, great, how much are we going to pay you? They say, oh, $550. And you say, great, can you sign this W-9 for me and then I'll pay you? And you can send it to them. Oftentimes, most companies have a W-9 just on file because we get asked for it all the time. I have a W-9. I have a digital copy on my computer. I have a hard copy in my files. And somebody asks for me for a W-9. I just go, here you go. Here it is. Like, takes me 30 seconds. I don't even have to scan it in. I have it on my computer. I just hit send. So it's usually that easy. If it's not that easy, they're a newer company, they don't really know what you're talking about, send them it on Tax Bandit. It makes it super simple. They charge me like $9 to send out 25 requests. Okay. What about someone who gives you a fake Social Security on the W-9 and the Fed send you a correction letter and then you can't reach them at year end? What's the best solution? It happens every year. How do we verify? That person sounds like not a nice person, and I hope that it's a different person every year and not the same person that you keep working with. I should get an affiliate link. I should make a commission. I'm always talking about how do you monetize things. Lexi, can you please make a note? We want an affiliate link with Tax Hive after 1099s are done, because I know I told you no more projects until then. Let's get an affiliate link. So yeah, back to if somebody gives you a fake social security number, I don't know, you're kind of, there's not that much you can do. You know, there might be websites where you can do background checks. We use this company called Checker, I think. And they'll do a background check and you give them a social security number. And so if the social security number was a fake, it would come back with this person doesn't exist. You can always ask for a copy of the social security card and you can kind of look at it and see if it looks real or fake. You can often tell, you know what your social security card looks like. That's my best thing to say. Like, obviously, if you're like a contractor company and you're hiring tens of or hundreds of contractors every year, that might happen. It's unfortunate. You are liable. And so I'm going to go back into in a minute. But, you know, do your best. If you can find an inexpensive background checker, that's one way to check. That's the best I've got for you. Okay, so what happens if you don't file 1099? So like I said, one, if you get reported and the IRS tells you, you know, basically you're reported for not filing, you need to file these 1099s, we're giving you a fee. Now, I do want to give this disclaimer that I've never seen them charge a late fee, but as Jerry reminded me yesterday, they are threatening to hire like 70,000 more IRS agents, which means all of their threats are going to be less empty. So you can get late fees. If you're a few days late, you know, there's like a $150 fee. If you're a month late, it goes up from there. Plus there'll be interest and penalties. So that's the late fees on filing. Now, what happens if you just don't file it or somebody wants to be hired under the table? Like what happens? You are running into the liability that you as a business owner could owe all of their self-employment taxes. If you were found to be liable for not giving someone a 1099 that should have been a 1099, you could be liable to the IRS for all of the self-employment taxes for that person. So think about that. Like, self-employment taxes are like 15-ish%, right? So if you paid someone, I mean, maybe if you only paid them $600, it's not that much. But if it's a big contractor and you paid them a lot of money, you know, and they're sort of an under-the-table employee, and you ever got found out, you would owe all of their self-employment taxes. So let's not have that liability. Let's just do it right in the first place. And let's get the W-9. Let's send the 1099. Let's not agree with people who are trying to hide money from the IRS. I'm not saying that I like the IRS any more than you do. They are making my life miserable right now. But we, as Americans, have a responsibility to accurately report taxes, you know, even if it's just so nothing bad happens to us, right? We don't want the tax penalties. We don't want to get audited. We want to do it right. And not only that, I don't know about you guys, but when I start making transgressions in certain areas, like not paying my taxes, my stats go down. Like, I start making less money. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't not paid my taxes ever, but like, let's say I didn't get something done for a client on time. I don't want to communicate with that person anymore. Like, I have back off now. So if I start doing things wrong financially, I'm going to make less money. Like, this is a fact, guys. You're going to make less money because you're going to have less reach in the area. So let's just do it right. You know, I know you all know what I'm talking about. Even little things, right? Like, let's say you are, you know, putting ice cream in bowls for you and your wife, and you give yourself way more ice cream than her. You feel a little bit bad, and then you kind of don't want to talk to her that much. And if she's like, hey, you've got a lot of ice cream, you're like, how could you say that to me? And you just start a fight. So it's really stupid, right? So we just want to do it right in the first place. We want to follow the law. We don't want to have anything come back on us. Very simple concept. Okay, David Amber said you could require them to get an LLC with an EIN so it's verifiable and not involving Social Security. That's a great idea, Jerry. Thank you. Obviously depends who it is, but that's a great idea. Okay, Jerry, if you don't issue a 1099 and they take cash under the table, you could be liable for the self-employment taxes. Oh yeah, even I didn't know this, and if your bookkeeper didn't tell you this, this is why you should be working with Maya. I agree. Thank you, Jerry. Your bookkeeper helps you stay compliant and out of trouble with the IRS. Exactly. Thank you, Jerry, for that. I know last week you were like, you should hire Maya because she can talk about payroll for a half an hour. Because who can talk about payroll for half an hour? I could talk about 1099s for hours. Here we go. All right. Nano says, what are some examples of service providers if you're self-employed? The top ones that come to mind are marketing companies, law firms, if you hire a lawyer to help you on your business contracts or, get you set up legally. Lots of different marketing companies. What else? I should think of things off the top of my head. Marketing companies, lawyers. Okay, your CPA or your bookkeeper, if they're not incorporated, they need a 1099. If you have an office and you have a company come in or an individual come in and clean your office, a lot of people don't think about this. That's a 1099 that you should be giving them. If they're a big cleaning corporation, then you don't need to. But if it's an individual who has some cleaning clients, they get a 1099. It's like Oprah. You get a 1099. You get a 1099. You all get a 1099. Very exciting stuff. What else? If you have somebody even come, if you have an office, this isn't for your house, right? Because it's a home office, it might be different. You're paying them personally, whatever. But if you have someone come into your office and fix things in your office, they are a service provider. Unless they work for a corporation, you would give them a 1099. If you're deducting a service on your business taxes, you would give them a 1099. I'm sure there's lots of other examples because my bookkeepers have been making these lists for the last 3 weeks. Let's see, what else? What else can I think of off the top of my head? Oh, a consultant or a coach. You hire a consultant or a coach to help you on your business, 1099, unless they're a corporation. Okay, there you go. Jerry says, if your bookkeeper is missing things or making mistakes, they're a liability to you as a business owner. Don't hire the one who messed it up to fix it. Go see Maya. Thank you, Jerry. I agree with you. Okay, good. So that's what I wanted to say about 1099. So let me talk about some other tax deadlines that are coming up that you'll probably hear me talk about more. So there are 1099s are due by January 31st. If you're e-filing through QuickBooks like we are, we have until about January 27th. So if we sent you an email to send us stuff, please send it by tomorrow so we can get your 1099s done on time. Then there's the other kind of 1099s, 1099 Misc. What if you paid someone who won a prize? Yeah, so that would go on your 1099 Misc, which stands for miscellaneous, and you have until, I believe, March 31st. If I'm wrong and it's March 15th, then I apologize. But you have until March for those other kind of 1099s. Now, a lot of people live in cities that have city business taxes. Like if you live in Los Angeles, I'm very sorry that you live there still. Not because Los Angeles doesn't have great views, but because there's the city business taxes. That's what I mean. I love LA. Don't make this personal. I'm sorry that they have such terrible taxes. So, non-monetary compensation. Wow, Jerry, you're asking a hard question. I actually don't totally know the answer to that. I would have to research that. We can add that. Can I do a webinar on non-monetary compensation? But what kind of non-monetary compensation are we talking about here, Jerry? You should just pay people. Keep it simple. Do you mean if you're doing a barter on business? Like you're doing someone's bookkeeping and they're doing your website? I would personally, exactly, if you live in Los Angeles, even just for tax reasons, move. I would personally keep it all in the books, so pay them and have them pay you and keep it simple. That's the best way to do it. I don't know 100% what all the rules are for non-monetary compensation. I would have to find out more about it, but I would say on your books, keep it clean, pay them, they pay you. Like a car or a piece of jewelry. Yeah. So that's a really good point. Does the E-Verify through the government answer this? I doubt it, but does anyone know what they do? I haven't heard of that, so I'm not sure, David. Okay, so if you give a contractor a car or a piece of jewelry, so I'm not like 100% sure on this, so I want to say that, but I would compare it to if you give an employee a car or something, you have to add it to their W-2. So if you're giving a contractor a car, I'm going to say you most likely need to 1099 them for it, but I would double check with your CPA, and I will actually research that because that's a very good question. But I would imagine that you have to 1099 them because of the value of it, and then they have to claim that on their taxes. So, but if you're like leasing it to them or renting it to them, that's different. But if you give them an entire car, they probably have to claim it. Okay. So, but I'll double check because there's a possibility I'm wrong because I haven't run into that. Okay, so back to Los Angeles. If you live there and you want to stay there, then fine. But if you live within LA City business limits, or LA City, like county basically, if you live in Glendale or Burbank, you're fine. But if you're in LA County, the LA City business taxes are due basically by mid-February. And you have to give them basically, you have to pay them a percentage of your income. Their form is annoyingly complicated. They don't tell you what the rates are. You just have to put in your revenue for the year and they'll tell you what you owe. And that's basically as far as I've gotten with them. So that's one that I know of specifically, but there are other cities and states that have specific business taxes. So you have to make sure if you're in that area to find that out, to look into that. If you're in an area, find out if there's any of those types of business taxes. Okay, now, so then you've got March 15th deadline for taxes for S Corps, LLCs, taxes S Corps, and I believe C Corps as well, although I really don't deal with C Corps very much, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Now, a lot of CPAs are going to file extensions, and then you have until September 15th. And if I'm being honest, most of my clients are filing their taxes on September 15th. August and September are probably our busiest time of year other than 1099 season because people come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to file my taxes by September 15th. Can you get it done by the end of August? And we're like, we'll do our best. So, so that's a deadline to remember, March 15th to the September 15th extension. Another deadline to remember is for, single member LLCs, sole proprietorships, and for your personal taxes, it's due April 15th, which of course gets extended oftentimes until October 15th. So keep that in mind. Okay, there are talks that California could double its taxes to start massive new social programs. Ugh. It's already so expensive. They have an annual tax to be a business of $800 just to be in business. But whatever. It's a beautiful place to live if you're not in downtown or East Hollywood, because you know why. Good. So now, how do we set you up for success on taxes and have you not freaking out at the end of the year? Bookkeeping. Let me say it again. Bookkeeping. Okay, so now, as soon as we get through all the 1099s, we're going to start all of our new clients that want catch up for 2021 so they can get their, bookkeeping done on time. And that's the time to do it. Like if you don't have a bookkeeper, come to me now so that we can get your books done, hopefully in February. So you could potentially file in March. If not, you can, file an extension still. But Lexi told me not to tell anyone to come now because we're in the middle of 1099 season. But when I say come now, I mean come now and we're going to start your bookkeeping in February if you want to catch up. Disclaimer, come now so you're the first step scheduled for February. So Lexi, don't get mad at me. So basically, that's what I wanted to tell you guys. That's how we're going to set you up for success. New policy for every business owner, get W-9s before you pay people. And new policy, if you don't have this already, get bookkeeping so your taxes are easy. I know so many people do this, and how many of us love doing this, sitting down in April or sitting down in September and going through our books for the entire year, not our books, sorry, our bank accounts, and trying to figure out how much, even if it's less than 600, thank you, Jerry. So you're going through your bank accounts and your credit cards and trying to figure out your business expenses. You know what? It's going to cost you a lot of time. It's probably going to give you a headache, and it's going to cost you money because you're missing deductions, because you're trying to find things and you're going to miss things. You're going to miss the deductions that will lower your tax liability. So that's what I wanted to tell you guys. Let's set you up for success. Let's do it right. Let's get bookkeeping so your taxes are easy. I've said this before. I'll say it again. My company mission statement is perfect and complete financial records for your peace of mind. That's what we're trying to give our clients, peace of mind. My personal purpose is to help business owners succeed. I want you to succeed. It's important to me. It's important to the country. It's your responsibility and your duty to succeed. So let's not get hit with tax bills that were not expected and problems and stressing out about getting taxes figured out at the end of the year. Let's have peace of mind. Let's do it throughout the year. Okay, if you need any help, even if you need 1099 help, I will still help you. I know I said I wouldn't say this, Lexi, but I want to help people. So reach out to me. You can comment here. You can email me, maya@solvencynow.com. You can go to my website, solvencynow.com. You can smoke signal, but it might take me longer to see you right now. I think I did finally put the autoresponder on my email. I might need a day or two to answer right this minute, but I answer as soon as I possibly can. Late with a penalty is better than not done at all, 100%, because if you file it, you're not responsible for their self-employment taxes. Okay, David says it's usually subcontractors who get workers' comp, driver's license, general liability, vetted by U.S. companies, but at year end they give a fake FIN or Social Security. Yeah. Well, that happens. Try to get a copy of their Social Security card so you can look at it and make sure it looks real. If they don't have one, that's a red flag. Like Jerry said, you can try to get them to open an LLC. I know that can be hard when they're like subcontractors, but you can also do background checks and, check that out. Okay, for years we had to verify employment through E-Verify to make sure they were citizens, depending on what party is in control. Well, if you hire someone as an employee, you have to get them to fill out an I-9 form, right? This isn't the same as when you hire a contractor, but you could still probably have them fill it out. You need to get 2 forms of ID, ask for their Social Security number or Social Security card. Get them to show you that. That's how you know it's real. And get 2 forms of ID. You can ask for their work permit if they're, not a U.S. citizen. You could ask for a green card. But yeah, I'm sure that is a problem. And at the same time, I do understand that they're doing their best to live in the U.S. But ask for their data up front. Okay, good. So again, if you need any help, if you need to catch up bookkeeping, if your books are a disaster, we specialize in fixing that. If you, even if you need a consultation, it's not going to be in January, it's going to be in February, but I will help you. Maya@solvencynow.com. Comment here on my Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Maya Weinreb, or Solvency Now, solvencynow.com, Maya@solvencynow.com. And I'm here to help, so I will do as much as I can to help you. Let me know if you have questions that didn't get answered, or if you have any other questions and you're not watching this live. Feel free to reach out to me. You can still comment here. You can send me a Facebook message or email me, and I will get you answered. Thank you all for joining me at the Bottom Line Live, where I talk about 1099s again for like the 3rd time, and I might talk about them again next week. But there you go. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you next time on the Bottom Line Live.